dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey Podcast, episode 215 in Studio L.
I like Studio L.
Well, of course, this is in your house. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Welcome to the podcast. And we're recording live, or I should say in person again.
It's Moonrocks.
And we've been doing pretty good with our audio on the... people didn't even know we've been separated for a while. We got a separation.
Yep.
Lorenzo officiated everything, and so now we're back together. We're getting the band back together, I guess they say.
Well, life's been super chaotic for both of us.
Really? Wow.
So we, you know, as we always say on the show, we make it happen and we give till it hurts. So, I mean, there's been some pain and been some growing stuff, but you know, and life goes on. But
growing pains. Wasn't that a TV show?
It was a great TV show. Tracy Gold
what
was his Alan Thicke?
Oh, was it? Yeah, Alan Thicke. That's right. That's going way back.
Kirk Cameron.
Was that Kirk Cameron?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
Look it up, listeners. Look it up.
I don't know.
One thing you're guaranteed to get on this show all the time
is a bunch of old shit.
References from the way past.
From way before. All right, well there you go. We live in our golden years, our heyday, I should say.
That's right. So
back when we could do stuff.
So how do we get off track in the first minute and a half of the show?
Because that's how we do it. That's how we do it.
So yeah,
Lorenzo just walked out the door. He's not even staying for this episode.
Well, he's an ass.
That's ridiculous.
He needs to go.
Lorenzo, get back here.
He needs to clop around in my backyard and eat some weeds or something.
Dude, the weeds are coming up above your window here. It's getting out of control. Don't you know a good landscaper, golf course guy, or somebody with a weed eater?
It's like the children of the cobbler. You know, they don't even have shoes.
Jesus Christ.
My front yard looks nice. It's got a few weeds.
It does look good. Your lawn looks good.
And I trim my hedges and bushes.
You do. You keep your hedges trimmed, and that's very important. That's very good neighborly stuff to do.
Made my deck look bigger.
Really? I didn't notice. I'm glad I didn't notice. You know, Hot Rod, JL Latte's building a deck right now.
I know.
He's been sending us deck pics left and right.
That's right, deck pics.
I don't want to see his deck pics. Well, and he keeps making all these references to his deck picks, and I'm like, dude, just stop.
He's got mad skills, man. I mean, I wonder,
that is quite the deck. I'm telling you, when the world comes to an end, which is going to be soon, by the way, have as much fun as you can right now, boys and girls. I want to be standing on his deck.
You just got to make sure your deck is level.
Well, and it looks very level, but it's like super reinforced.
You don't want to have the deck angled at a 45.
No, you don't want it at a 45, and you don't want any curvature to your deck.
No,
you want it very square.
No curved deck.
And his deck looked very square. And
it was a square deck.
It was very nice. It was a little brown too. Didn't you notice that? It looked very big and brown.
I wasn't going to make any comments.
Oh, weren't? Yeah, it was like pressure treated something. I don't know, but it was a brown pressure treat.
I think it's a Trex deck.
Is it Trex? No, Ipe. Ipe is a very hard wood, and that's what I prefer in my decks that I build.
When
for
you build decks,
the landscape.
You use hardwood?
We use Ipe, yeah, IPE, and those of you in the industry know.
How hard do you screw the deck?
Ipe is so hard that you have to pre-drill it to put in screws to hold your deck together.
You can't pound the deck?
No, you can't, and you will ruin saw blades, carbide tipped saw blades, and carbide tip drills going through that Ipe wood. It's so hard on the dick.
That'd be a pretty stiff deck.
It is. It's a very, very stiff deck, but that's very expensive, and even Hot Rod didn't have that kind of money to put Ipe on his deck. But, so, anyways,
I think we've beat
that deck to death. All right.
We've beaten that deck to death. So, all right. Well, good luck with your deck there, Rodney.
I can't wait to walk on your deck when I come visit you, Rodney.
Right back to the deck. I don't know. All right. And we're out.
Lorenzo is not coming back. He just flipped us off. He gave us the high hoof.
Fucking
wow.
All right.
It's a school night. He's not drinking.
I know. I am.
Well, of course you are.
I figured I was day drinking, so why not just keep on?
There you go.
Keep on.
You go. Nice.
So yeah, we're back in Studio L. We're together again. It's all good. Jason's actually working for a bit, and he's earned enough work time on his vacation. He needs to come back and do some work.
I need to take a vacation.
That's right. So what's been going on in our lives? Well, we had a little bit of business. We have a new patron.
What?
I'm sorry, new Barrel Society.
Yeah,
member.
that's more like it. Barrel Society member from Irate 4x4. You go on to Irate 4x4 and you scroll past the other two podcasts that jumped ahead of us for some reason because of alphabetical bullshit. So you go to Irate 4x4 and watch, listen, and learn, right?
And discuss.
Oh, watch, listen, and discuss. And it's just scroll on down past those other two wannabe podcast, and then there's Wheeling Wine and Whiskey right there, and then click on that, all our episodes, and then on the right hand side of the screen is different ways to support the podcast. If you'd like to financially support us, which we greatly appreciate.
Not necessary,
but we do appreciate it, and it keeps Lorenzo fed, because if we don't have any money, then he doesn't get any feed.
That's how we can get him back in the studio.
That's exactly
bowl of food down.
That's exactly right. If you're on your mobile device, it's all the way on the bottom. But anyways, so go ahead. Who do we have, Chris?
So we have a new patron by the name of Austin, last name beginning with an H.
Austin H. And he's local?
He's local. We do know him. He's a child of a friend of ours, a dear friend of ours. And we greatly appreciate your jumping into the pool there and helping support the show.
You know what even makes it better? Because he just bought a Toyota, but he supports Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. So how about that?
That's even better.
He's glutton for punishment. I like it. Thank you, Austin, for stepping up there. That's freaking great.
That's absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And then we have a returning show supporter. Tyson's back.
Guess who's back? Back again. So Tyson was before Lorenzo screwed up that whole process, was our private jet mechanic.
That's right. He kept the turbine spinning.
He did keep the turbine spinning.
Turbines.
Oh, turbines. Yes, you're right. Turbines.
You don't want to be like that.
No. That's great. I'm glad he's back.
I am too.
Maybe we can someday, if we get a jet, he will be our mechanic again.
Absolutely. So welcome
those
back,
were good
Tyson.
days. Those were good days when we had a jet.
And then Lorenzo got kidnapped, and our listeners, if you haven't heard that whole epic saga, go back in time and figure that out.
Episode 12.
Episode.
I think it was way back at 12.
We got him back. Whatever. We'll look it up.
But all right, so that's cool. So we got So thank you very much, Austin and Tyson.
That's right. Awesome. Welcome back, Tyson.
Yeah.
So also we're recording. Oh shit, we got an applause. That's right on, man. Lorenzo's back. Oh, Jason's controlling the board.
No, I'm controlling the board now.
Oh boy, I made a mistake by setting up the studio with Jason near it. All right. And then the other thing, well, I got a lot of things to talk about tonight, but we also have a pre-recorded edition or section of the show from a trip that Jason was on last week.
Really?
And we're gonna.
I was on a trip last week.
Yeah, you were. You're always on a trip.
I thought that was a dream. It was a dreamy week.
Right. So we'll play that in a little bit, but we're going to continue conducting a little bit of business and catch up on our lives. Father's Day just happened, Jason. I know you've unfortunately you've lost your father recently.
I did. So it was kind of just I didn't even remember the US Open was on Father's Day. I was just kind of out of it this year.
Yeah.
But I did sit down and watch the US Open for a while, and I haven't watched golf in forever. I did recognize some of the names though, because it was a good finish. I don't know if you watched.
I tried, but I was not able to. I don't have regular TV or regular cable, so I wasn't able to partake in any viewing of it. But I did look at the results, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." It looked like it got to be an exciting finish. Some of the scores from the first two rounds were pretty. I mean, none of our listeners really care about golf.
No, you don't have to get into the details there. But
as anybody that does follow the golf world knows that the U.S. Open is always the same weekend as Father's Day, And, so that's kind of a
little fun fact.
What's the fun fact?
I've worked 2 U.S. Opens.
I've worked one.
You did work one. I did Olympic Club and Pebble Beach.
Oh, Pebble Beach. I did the Olympic Club also.
Yeah.
You and I were there.
That was a good one.
That's
a special place if you're a golfer.
Yep.
Of course, Pebble Beach. Everybody knows Pebble Beach. But, anyways, mowing fairways and, that was so much fun being out there.
What do you have to do to change cups to get that job?
You're pretty much on staff. Those are people that are on staff typically.
Man, that'd be pretty special. But
that is.
We watched that happening, and there's like a lot of people involved in the cup changing.
Oh,
process.
It's 8-10 people walking around the green. They already have a pre-selected area, but then they evaluate it each and every day because conditions change environmentally, and so they go out, walk it, stimp it after the green's been mowed and rolled.
Stimping's checking the speed.
Yeah, checking the speed of the green. Thank you for clarifying.
How far the ball rolls.
Yeah, off a 3-foot stick that's at a certain, I forget how many degrees it is before the ball rolls off.
Until it falls off.
Until it falls off.
But it's the angle that it falls off.
It's the angle of the dangle that it falls off. And then rolls a certain amount of feet from the end of that stick. It's a aluminum V-channeled a bar. And then it's how many feet it rolls off of that on a level surface. And then you roll back the opposite direction, and then you average those 3 balls each direction. So 6 balls, and that will
divided
give you your
by
stimp
2.
reading.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyways, it's pretty cool watching the process. And
a little behind the scenes look there.
Yeah, and then when you actually watch the tournament on TV or in person, it's pretty freaking cool. So,
yep.
So
happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there that are listeners of the show. And if you're not listening to the show, or you are listening to the show and you know people that should be listening to the show, certainly spread the word.
And I did that meme for Father's Day, with Arnold Schwarzenegger smoking a cigar in his Hummer.
In his Hummer back.
And it says, Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads, except those that can't drive a manual. Happy Mother's Day.
There you go.
Oh, that's good.
There's Jason throwing it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this, Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everybody. It's a little belated if you're listening to this today. We went
a couple days later.
A couple days late. My niece, my oldest niece, Courtney, got engaged to be married.
Over Father's Day?
Not on over Father's Day, but the engagement party was this past weekend.
Okay.
So just want to give a shout out to Courtney. Congratulations, you and James. And it was wonderful meeting your fiance and talking with him a little bit. Your uncle Chris approves.
Wow. Oh, wow. Is he a golfer, off-roader?
He's not an off-roader. I believe he's a golfer. And hopefully we'll be able to get together and play a little bit of golf prior to the wedding up in the North Bay.
Okay,
cool. When it happens next year.
Cool. Right on.
So,
well, that's good. Weddings are good for people that need to be institutionalized.
Wow. All right. What else? What have you been up to? Man, you need to step away from the board, son.
I have been. What I don't even know what day it is anymore. It's been just a blur. I had probably one of the most epic weeks of my life last week.
Oh yeah?
I will just throw that down. I've had a lot of good times. So
you were working all week long?
I worked like 14-hour days and ate top ramen and got very little sleep.
There you go. Well, that's living the
week.
Dream right there.
Pretty cool week. Actually, I spent the week with Ultra 4 Jones and lived the Ultra 4 Jones life, killing gophers. And how about that? Hashtag show me your gopher. That could be. He did that. Show me your gopher.
I bought 2 of those traps.
Did you really?
Oh yeah, they work,
dude. He should be sponsored by them at next year's KOH. It should say Gopher Busters or something on his freaking car. Hashtag show me your gopher on the hood and with a gopher hood ornament or something.
That's right. Or a stuffed gopher attached.
Oh my god, Diesel got Diesel in the back chasing after the gophers.
Oh my god.
Anyways. Yeah, so we went out to Moonrocks, which we talked about, And let me tell you, Moonrocks is very cool. And what was really neat was the Friends of Moonrocks. Harry Wagner was out there. I mentioned a few other names in this recording that we did coming up, but it is amazing place. It looks like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Disney World or Disneyland really? without the rail car,
and dude, without 10,000 people standing.
Yeah, and standing in line and kids screaming and shit. So, it is super cool terrain. The actual Moonrocks itself is not like huge or anything, but there's some crazy lines in there. And it's very Sand Hollow-esque, where you're getting your vehicle in crazy position, straddling cracks, and it reminded me a lot of Sand Hollow. The traction's different because Sand Hollow is like driving on sandpaper. Out here, you're on granite, which the traction is good, but
a little slippery,
yeah. But there is miles and miles of trails on the BOM land surrounding Moonrocks, and we went out on a little trail ride on Saturday, and it was incredible. And just getting to the trail was incredible. And I'm like, I love Nevada and the trails. But back to the Friends of Moonrocks, they were out there doing a huge cleanup, and I was surprised. I mean, there was 150 plus people that showed up, a lot from the overland community that came out there. And that's the cool thing, because there are miles and miles of trails that are not crazy wild.
For sure. Well, that's what you were telling me. And some of them are YJ friendly.
Yeah. And then, they're YJ friendly.
Barbie Jeep friendly.
It's Samurai friendly, whatever. Even Toyota friendly, I would go to that extent.
Amber would be offended at that. Because Amber just send it on the same shit.
Amber doesn't ever want to go back to Moonrock, she told me, and I'm sad about that, because I'm about to become a Nevada resident and I can't go out there with her, but that's cool. So anyways, and then Randy's like, oh yeah, it's good for once or twice a year. I'm like, dude, well, I guess it's still new to me, but I there's a lot of potential out there. But the cleanup part was great. I talked with Craig, I want to say, from BOM, and he talked about the importance of spreading the good word that, there's a lot of good stuff happening at Moonrocks, and people are being responsive. So I'm sorry, it's Paul from the BOM.
Yeah, Paul sounds exactly like Craig.
Yeah. Well, there was a Chad I met. I did meet a Craig, but that was different. He had another operation going out there. But anyways, very, very cool. We talk about that coming up here. And then I went to Bomber Fab and dropped off my rig to have rear steer put on it.
Are you serious?
I'm serious as a heart attack. I backed up my buggy and trailer to Bomber Fab, and I said, hey, Randy, can I leave it here to put rear steer on? And he's like, yeah, no problem. That's cool. And I go, cool, I'll be back in 5 days. He goes, great. And I came back in 5 days, and the rear steer wasn't put on.
Well, shame on Randy.
Well, I didn't leave him in a check or anything. I guess that was the problem.
Hey, Lorenzo, you want to take care of that? Is the buggy still there?
No. I picked up the buggy. But no, I went down to Mammoth. I cruised down to the Eastern Sierras there to Mammoth Mountain and went skiing in June.
So we're in week 26 of the year, and Jason's has worked 3 weeks.
And so we went down there and met up with this guy that's pretty good on a couple skis. His name's Glenn Blake.
Does he have spiky hair?
He's got a mohawk, but he wasn't flying the hawk.
Wasn't mowing the hawk.
Wasn't flying the hawk, but dude, that was a huge bucket list item for me. So having met him before and stuff, and I becoming friends through off-roading, and I go, dude, we gotta ski at least one day. I gotta make a run with Glenn Blake. And he's like, yeah, man, let's do it. So happy, Gregorius and everything. And so he drove up in his Buick Roadmaster to Mammoth.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's freaking badass.
Big land yacht.
Gold land yacht. It's got the big V8 in it. Basically a Corvette motor with iron heads. And he rolls in, comes on up, meets us, and we start heading up. And he goes, where do you want to go? And I go, I don't care. What do you want to do? Let's go up chair 23. Well, for chair 23 at Mammoth, for those of you that ski, know that it's one of the top, 5 chairlifts in United States.
I've skied it.
You skied it.
Yes.
Okay. So off of chair 23 is, the wipeout chutes and what's the other side called? It's
Death.
It pretty much is. It's Death on a Stick, I think, is the name of the run. It is insane. Okay, it is wipeout chutes and dropout chutes. Yeah, that's it right there. And then you got Scotty's on the skiers left there. But anyways, the moguls are just freaking insane. The first 6-7 turns, it's like, it's so steep and huge moguls. And I'm not a huge mogul fan.
Neither am I. Well, I'm definitely not a mogul fan anymore.
Yeah. And he goes, hey, you want to go down this? And I'm like, okay, I'm with Glenn Plake. I got to do it. I can do it. I know I can do it. I don't like it. I don't want to do it, but I can do it.
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it. And so he drops off, and of course he takes off like a freaking bat out of hell. And then, so I drop in behind and, picking lines wisely and did okay. I'm like, hey, okay. But it was so crazy because as the day progressed, it was like the consistency of wet concrete. Glenn called it mud, but wet concrete going
Right.
down with you,
It's summertime now.
So
yeah.
I got to give a shout out too. We had, we met up with Clint Cunliffe
Yep.
and his son Kyle, from Grocery Getter Racing, races Ultra 4 KOH there. And Clint we met him because he's one of the main volunteers at KOH.
That's
for
correct.
organizing the volunteers that are working out on course.
Right.
And so he goes, hey, we're going to head up, let's meet up. And so we were texting back and forth, met up. And I said, hey, well, I got to wait for this, Mohawk guy that's going to ski with us. And he's like, no way. And I go, yeah, way, here he comes. And then sure as shit, we go skiing. Well, so it was a blast. So both Clint and Kyle are good skiers and drop in. I had my buddy Pickle Rick with us. We call him Pickle Rick. He's he wears this green fleece, so he looks like a pickle. His name's Rick. And so we call him Pickle Rick. He's a really good skier. So anyways, we do that run and pretty gassed, hop on the chair again, do it again. And then we're like really gassed and said, okay, we got to take a break. So we took a quick break, BSing for about an hour, drank some water and stuff, and then headed back up the hill. And like I say, it was like the consistency of this wet cement following you down the hill. The snow would just come down. But
oh yeah,
it was like, okay, so did a few runs. Late afternoon, they close at 1. They're open from 7:30 to 1 because it's freaking summer, for God's sakes.
It turns into a waterfall.
It pretty much. And so, but the snow held up well. It was amazing. So a lot of fun, just a lot of fun, and getting to ski with them, and it was like, and the stories on the chairlifts of the hot dog days and everything. I mean, you're just a great storyteller. So, I said, hey, okay, we're done. Thanks, Glenn. We'll see you later. He goes, hey, I think I'm going to come out tomorrow. I go, really? I wasn't planning on skiing. I was going to just kind of take it easy in the morning. And he goes, no, let's ski. So ended up meeting him the next day. And I said, hey, I am not doing moguls today. I'm moguled out. He goes, no, we're running the groomers. So we had an absolute blast running groomers the next day. So much fun. Met up with a couple of his friends, Manny and Mark.
Okay.
Just weather was awesome. People were skiing in shorts and t-shirts, and some people need to put on more clothes when they ski in the spring and summer, but whatever. It was great. It was just a blast. And, so thank you, Glenn, for not only one day but 2 days of skiing. I'm still hurting from the event, but I didn't fall. I didn't lose any skis. I didn't get over my ski tips or anything like that, man. I just skied in my lane. I didn't.
Oh, there you go.
I didn't. I wanted to do well, obviously, in front of Glenn, but I wasn't trying to impress him or anything because he's just ridiculous. And that was the other thing. It was just super cool to see him in person on skis.
Well, he's a world-class extreme skier.
Blasting past you, and it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah,
and it's so cool that people, come up. He's getting photos with people and telling stories and stuff. A great ambassador of the sport and and everything. So, anyways, that was that. I came back to Gardnerville and Bomber Fab and picked up my buggy and was sad to see that there was no rear steer. But my bank account was still intact, so that was good. All $7.38.
Well, but Wheeling Wine and Whiskey has $9.62.
Oh, are we? Are we up to 9? I thought we were more than that.
So that check would have bounced too.
Anyways, but then Amber and Randy were getting ready to go out to Rubicon and go, come on, let's go do Rubicon. I'm like, oh, I can't. I got to be back. My really good friend's 50th birthday. And so I got to get home. But man, I was so tempted to just go straight to the Rubicon from there.
See, this is
how epic would have that been?
This is what's going to happen when you live up there. It's like, where's Jason? Who knows? Let's track him with satellite. I mean, Jason's earned three work days, so he's going to go work for 3 days, and we'll call it good.
Hey,
no, that's super cool. I am a little jealous that you got to do all that stuff. And what was I doing? Well, I was working. I was legitimately working. So
it was just an opportunity, and I jumped on it. And
there you go.
Of course, you got to make sacrifices to make some of this stuff happen, and I was no short of sacrifices, and I'm paying dearly for it. But it happened, and when I'm sitting in my rocking chair in Northern Nevada
next week,
I'll be thinking back and said, hell yeah.
So Lorenzo, super producer Lorenzo, came out of the backyard.
There you go, Lorenzo. Finally earning some keep around here.
Hey, you got a little bit of the weeds growing around your mouth. You want to lick that up? Clean that, really? Dude. Seriously, clean that up.
Really?
All right. Anyway, you're drooling. Stop.
Well, that's not me.
Okay. Anyway, so Lorenzo came in from the backyard and found the episode. Episode 77.
77.
That's still the early days of Wheeling Wine and Whiskey.
77.
That's a great interview. They talk about off-roading at
Trail Hero,
Sand Hollow,
Sand Hollow,
Trail Hero, and of course the skiing.
Some good skiing background stories,
all the stuff, and of course
episode 77.
God, that was a long time.
And this is
ago.
Episode 215.
215.
All right.
So
we'll get him back on.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing him this summer out at Meadow Lake. I hope
he is planning on being at Sierra Trek. Another reason to go to Sierra Trek.
Fantastic.
So, a little insider tip there, if you want to meet Glenn.
Maybe we can talk him into getting the Mohawk going.
Oh, he should make it fly in camp. That would be pretty epic.
Wouldn't that be killer?
That would be pretty epic.
So, right on.
All right.
Well, glad you had a great time at
Thank you.
Moonrocks, and of course heading down to.
I do have to make one more statement here of the week because
Mammoth.
So came back into Gardnerville, went to CVI.
Okay.
Which is Carson Valley Inn.
Right.
Great. If you're
one of your new haunts when
in the area, the great steakhouse, great Katie's is their grill, little bar grill. Well, I shouldn't say bar grill. It's
restaurant.
It's your good little cafe.
They have great food to sop up alcohol.
Yeah, like you want meatloaf, you want pot roast, prime rib, stuff like that. Anyways, burgers, all the good stuff there, BLTs. But CVI is a cool casino there in Nevada. And I was wanting to play blackjack really bad. I hadn't played. I used to play blackjack a lot, and I hadn't played much at all in the last 10 years. And
I like playing blackjack when it's a single deck.
Well, this is a double deck. You don't see single deck much anymore unless you want to pay $25 or more to play blackjack.
And it's way off strip.
And and they cut the cards every freaking 2-3 hands.
Exactly.
So this was double deck, and they had 3 $10 tables open, and so I'm like,
holy
okay.
smokes, $10?
$10, no $5, no $5, no $1, but a $10 table. And so I'm like, okay, I'll take $100 and play blackjack. And I always watch people play, and I'm like, oh, people are doing stupid stuff, hitting 17s with a 6 showing and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, Becky, nope, not sitting down. So I said, all right, I'll go play, channel my inner Grandma O'Leary.
Luck of the Irish.
The blue hair O'Leary. And I go, I'm going to go play a penny slot. So I put $20 in penny slot. Of course, play that for like 10 minutes and I got 10 cents at the end of the day. I'm like, okay.
Well, it's 10
go
cents
back over to the blackjack table. Still stupid stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm out. And I go, I'm going to go to a Wheel of Fortune machine, but they don't have
Wheel of Fortune. Hey, Pat Sajak's retiring.
Is he really?
Yeah. Little side note.
Okay. What about Vanna White?
She's retiring too.
Oh, they should retire together because they're a pair.
I wonder if they were.
No, stop it, Chris. Stop it.
Just throwing it out there.
Okay. All right.
Can't work together that long and never have that thought.
Boys like Mexico.
Okay. All right. Anyways, so now you got a little insight of where Chris's mind goes. So I'm looking for a Wheel of Fortune machine, but everything's all video games and BS now. I like the old school reels that spin and stuff like that, right? And there's a handful of those in the casino.
You like old school because why? Because you're old.
Because I am old.
I'm older.
And then, and then these stupid games, these video games, it's like there's 20 line payoffs, It doesn't just pay the center line anymore.
Oh, right.
Like
no,
diagonal,
you got diagonal, top line,
zigzags,
top
it fucking goes over to the next machine
but
and
they're only allowed if
It's
you put in the max
stupid.
bet.
It's stupid. So I'm like,
you got to
okay.
do max bet to get all those lines.
So I found some Wheel of Fortune machines that were modernized, but they still had reels. But the reels lit up and did all kind. There's a video screen up above.
Was it a mechanical wheel?
It was a three mechanical wheels. So I'm like, okay, legit. So I put the 10 cents in there just because I had the ticket. And then I put $20 in, and I thought it was one of those multiple denominations, where you could choose, 25 cents, $1, $5, whatever you want to do, right?
Uh-huh.
It wasn't. It was a dollar machine, and I don't play dollar slots. I don't have Chris money.
Shit.
I don't have hashtag Chris money, so I'm like, well, fuck, now I'm committed. Well, I guess I could have hit the cash out.
I play $100.
Well, okay. Well, there you go, So I'm like, all right. Well, we might as well just play it off. It's $20 because I was planning on spending $100, right? Whenever I go into a casino, you gotta have what you're gonna spend and what you're gonna walk away with, right? If you're lucky, the
break even is always fun.
So I go, I'll just blow $100 tonight. What the hell, kind of live in Chris's shoes for a moment,
right?
So just pocket change, and so I put $20.10. And I'm like, oh my God, it goes from 1 to 9. So from $1 to $9. I'm like, well, I ain't paying no $9 a roll. I can't do 1 because then your chances you hit a spin and you're screwed.
It's a spin, not a roll.
Well, whatever. And so the spin, so I go 5. I go $5. Nothing.
Did it have the one-arm bandit lever, or did you push the button?
No, I pressed the button. It did have the lever too, and I do like pulling the lever, but I press the button. So every once in a while. So I go $5, nothing. $5, nothing. $5, nothing. $5, nothing. Well, now I got 10 cents in the machine.
Well, that's not good for.
And
I'm
like, well, that was a quick freaking $20. And I'm like, all right, let's see. So I'm $20 down. Or I'm now $40 down. Well, $39.90 down at this point. And so I go, okay, let me put a couple more 20s in the machine, and that is it. Absolutely, that is it.
Spoken like a true addict.
Exactly. And so I put the $40 in, and $5, $5. Ding, 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 ding. It pays off like 20. I'm like, okay.
That's the tease.
I'm like, that's cool. Okay, so the machine works. It's not broken.
Well, there's a guy watching you on camera. So
yeah.
I'm going to give this guy a little taste.
I kind of pause for a moment, Well, that's it.
First hit's free.
They can, they're probably totally doing it from upstairs, whatever. So I hit $5 a couple more times, and then all of a sudden, freaking lights up like a slot machine. And it says massive money, and I hit 2 triples and a 7. It was an American sevens machine, so it had the American flag 7.
Oh, shit.
And this thing just kept going, and it went $100, $200, $300, $468.
Wow.
I'm like,
did it spit out a 1099 for me?
It did. It did a 1099. This little monocle guy wearing a monocle came over and was asking for my social security number and stuff. And I'm like, oh crap.
Oh boy.
But anyways, it was. I'm like, no way. I never played dollar machines, but that was pretty freaking cool. And so I go, well, you can never walk away from a machine that just pays out a good, you got to do a couple more spins, right?
Watch me.
So I did a couple more spins, nothing, hit the cash out button, ran directly over, did not pass go, and cashed out my ticket and got the hell out of there. So that was pretty cool.
And then you filled the tank of your truck.
It did. It took, no, that was Nevada. So I got like 3 tanks full out of that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Speaking of diesel, I'm not to derail your, but I mean, even, prices I know prices in Nevada are quite a bit less for fuel.
Yeah, because you don't have the California FU tax.
But I will say there's been that detour that I mentioned in the previous episode is still ongoing with the 580, 680 interchange. So I end up driving past this Chevron station on San Ramon Boulevard, and it, no lie, dude, $5.99 a gallon for diesel right now.
$5.99?
So that's $6.
Yeah.
So 10 miles later, I'm in Walnut Creek, Chevron station on Ignacio Valley Boulevard, $4.69 a gallon.
Do you know what it is in Bishop, California?
I don't care, but I mean, it's like, how can it be a $1.40 difference or a $1.30 difference in 10 miles? That's just stupid.
That's the way it is.
Anyway, okay, on with your jackpot. So did you?
Anyways, no, I walked away.
Well, that's good. That's
proud of myself.
Wait a minute. So was that a Wheel of Fortune machine? Because you didn't spin the wheel.
No, I didn't get to spin the wheel. It just hit on a natural, lining up. It was 777's machine, American. It had the American flag and everything. That's what drew me in. You get sucked in by what you like, and I like America. America.
Well, I mean, because there's this satisfaction when you get to hit that button for spin, and you watch that thing spin, and it's like, come on, 1,000, or 2,500. Oh yeah,
when you're doing the wheel,
and it's like I always end up on 40.
No, I know. And it's happened. I've hit 500 before, but quarters. I've never played a dollar.
Like $125.
I've never played a dollar. Oh yeah, but I've never played a dollar machine before. Never ever played a $5 machine. I was like, holy crap!
I always get a kick in. They, the people that listen to the show, if you've never been to a casino, whether in Indian Casino or Atlantic City, or
hey, how are you? Hey, how are you?
But there's a lot of glitz and glamour and blinky shit in a casino floor. And one of the things that draws people in is the progressive slots, right?
And this was a progressive.
So the progressive slots like this gangbang of money.
Whoa! Did what the fuck is a gangbang of money?
So a whole slew of machines, whether throughout the casino or throughout the network of casinos, that it's just this pool of money, and the jackpots can be stupid. They're tens of thousands of dollars or even up in the millions. And I wonder if they ever hit. I don't know. I don't hang around.
They do occasionally, but obviously they don't hit every night, or else the casino wouldn't be in business.
Exactly.
Now, you know what I do miss being in the casino is real coins, silver dollars, quarters, all that stuff, and hearing them hit the pots.
And that bucket that you would get.
You would get buckets, right? Like if you won a bunch, you'd literally be carrying around like 5 buckets of quarters or whatever.
That's right. And then you go off to the cashier.
Yeah, and then they dump it in, and then
there's satisfaction in those sounds, man. It's like,
there was nothing like. Now it's all computerized and it sounds terrible.
You get a chit.
Yeah, well, and it does it's pretending to drop coins in the freaking fountain,
no,
but
man, back in the old days. I mean, I could tell you a story. We could have a whole episode.
Here's what you hear now.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's a way more convenient. I get it. We're a society of convenience, so
you don't have money, do you now?
Yeah, it is pretty much, so. and you don't even have to go to a real person to cash out. Now you put it into a machine. It's like an ATM machine.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And I'm like, this is so impersonal.
It sucks.
Anyways,
but winning's cool. But
well, I've done a lot of losing, so I was pretty happy to be a winner this time.
Right on.
A wiener. But anyways, that was that.
Cool. Right on, man. Well, good stuff. I think we should roll into the episode.
I got one more quick story. One more quick story
right.
Because it's been a while since we've been together. I went to In-N-Out Burger today.
Oh, In-N-Out's great.
I love In-N-Out. And I said it before because you go to Subway to get lunch, it's minimum like $14-15.
Yeah.
You know, you go anywhere, McDonald's,
Subway
Carl's
used to have
Jr.,
the $5 foot long,
any of this.
those are
Exactly. That's long gone. That ship sailed. But, you know, you go anywhere, it's like 15, you know, you go to Chipotle, whatever. And I eat out. I do, you know, I try to do like Subway or even Chipotle's good. And I don't do McDonald's very often.
I like their Egg McMuffins.
Yeah. So, but anyways, it's like $15. But, you know.
And the chocolate shake.
In-N-Out, you can still get, you know, burger, fries, and a soda for like $10, $11.
Yeah, no, it's a screaming deal.
And it's a good burger. The fries obviously aren't as good as McDonald's, but they're good fries. And I don't like doing drive-thrus. I don't know why. I just like going inside and, you know, ordering my meal and walking out. And it's usually faster. But In-N-Out's very efficient, I got to say. So I did that today, and there was, I'm kid you not, I counted over 20 cars that I could see in front of me. And I go, Jason, this is stupid, but let's give it a roll. So I checked my watch there, the phone clock, and I hit the timer. Boom. As soon as I got in the line, and then they have a person out there with an iPad
they got the person,
taking orders and going from car to car. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is efficient, you know, kind of like Chick-fil-A and stuff. And so I'm like, okay.
I still haven't been to Chick-fil-A.
Oh, it's really good. So, boom. I started as soon as I got in the line. Within a minute, my order was taken. And there was 3 cars in front of me.
To the window?
Yeah, to the lady that was walking with the iPad.
Okay.
Super efficient. I mean, you know what? There's 10 things to order. So it's like people that have been to In-N-Out know exactly what they want. Okay, you want a double animal style, whatever.
Oh, man, look at you. You know the secret menu and everything.
Oh, yeah, the secret menu. Not so secret menu. So, boom, I order. And then I'm like, okay, let's see. And it's just line kept on gradually moving up, and then you get to the pay window, and then they read off your order again. Okay, you know, blah blah blah.
How many Priuses were in line?
There was a couple Priuses in line.
How many
but that's
Teslas?
The Bay Area. I did not see one Tesla in line, which was interesting.
Wow.
So from how long do you think it took from when I got in line to when I drove away with my meal?
17 minutes 34 seconds.
Nope.
14 minutes 10 seconds.
Too high.
8 minutes 9 seconds.
Just over 8 minutes. It was just over 9 minutes.
Hey, fun fact: 8 minutes 9 seconds is just over 8 minutes.
Yes, it is. So 9. It was like 9 minutes 35 seconds. I thought that was pretty impressive.
That is pretty good
for a busy deal. And then I'm like, oh my God, they got my meal right. They got the double animal style.
They never fuck up.
No, they fucked up.
Uh-oh.
Yep, they fucked up. And so
I just storm in and yell at them.
I did something pretty cool, and it turned heads.
Backed up.
I did what you're not supposed to do. So I pull out. I pulled into a parking spot. I'm like, I'm just going to eat here real quick. I was going to go to my next job site, but I said, no, you know what? I'm going to eat it while it's hot, especially the fries, because cold freaking In-N-Out fries really suck.
And I'm sure you don't have an air fryer in the back of your truck.
No, I don't have an air fryer in the back of my truck. So I pull onto a parking spot. I start chowing down on the burger and fries. I'm like, oh, perfect. I go to take a sip of my soda, and I ordered a Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
And you know what tastes really freaking horrible is Diet Coke. And guess what I got? I got Diet Coke.
Oh, boy.
I'm like, oh, my God. I almost gagged. I'm like, no. And the old Jason years ago would have said, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to go back in there. But I'm like, no, I want my freaking Dr. Pepper.
Should have thrown it out the window at the Prius.
I almost did. So I go, okay, well, simple mistake. I'm like, damn, they're efficient. It's moving. I'm super impressed. They got everything right. And then no, they got the wrong soda. So I went back up to the drive-up window. I didn't go inside. I went right up to the drive-up window, and there was some gal that was deathly scared of me because I was this man walking up with sternly to the drive-up window.
40 caliber pistol probably didn't help.
No, yeah, on my side. And so I go right, oh, sir, you can't. Well, I'm like, look, your soda machine is 2 freaking feet away from you. You gave me a Diet Coke, and right here on my receipt, holding in my hand, says medium Dr. Pepper. Guess what I fucking want? A medium Dr. Pepper. And I put the Coke back down on the deal. I was very nice. I didn't say the F word or anything. And she goes, okay, hang on one second. Well, here comes the manager over. What is this guy doing? To the oh, well, we served him the wrong drink. I'm going to get him the right drink right now. Oh, okay. And he looks at me and just like sternly like walks away.
Was his name Bob? Like
it's a really bad thing. I don't know if it's illegal. It probably is illegal. Newsom's got a freaking law that it's illegal to walk up to a drive-through window.
Well, it's highly unusual.
Well, and I've tried it before when you have your cab over camper and it's only open. Drive-through is the only thing open at like freaking 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
But you can't take your drive-through camper through the freaking... No,
it's a little tough when you're
drive-through when the clearance is 9 feet.
Yeah, it wouldn't end
on a good day.
Wouldn't end well.
And I tried to do. Oh no, sir, we can't serve you by walking up to the window. Why is that? Whether we need to figure this out. I need answers. I bet in Nevada you could walk right up. You could probably ride up on your horse in Nevada.
Oh,
so.
I'm absolutely sure. Are you gonna buy a horse now?
No. I'm going to buy horsepower, but I'm not going to buy a horse. So there is my In-N-Out fast food story.
Well, there you go. The more you know.
Whatever you like.
All right. Well, there you go. Jason likes In-N-Out and he hates Diet Coke.
Oh, I hate Diet Coke. The only thing I hate worse than Diet Coke is Fireball.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
And Truly's.
I don't mind Diet Coke, but I hate Fireball.
Okay, well, there you go. I'm done. I'm
You're
out.
done? All right.
We'll see you later.
Well, let's move into the... Let's move into what you and James and Rhonda recorded.
You want to listen to that?
At Moonrocks. Yeah, I think the listeners would like to listen to that.
We recorded it on Sunday afternoon, right after James rolled over. Oh, let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, man. Buried the lead. You exposed the lead. All right.
Sorry, not sorry.
Ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Boom.
Okay, we are out here in Nevada, Moonrocks, Nevada, to be specific. So our first time here with James and Rhonda. The rest of our crew left already. So welcome back to the podcast. You guys might be getting close to Amber and Kevin Jones status here.
Could be. Coming for you, Kevin.
Yeah, there you go. So, what do you guys think of... Well, no, you guys were here last year. So, yeah, you guys were here last year. It was my first year. So, we had Carlos's family from TAC 1 Fab. Had Anthony's family from DFF Fab. Buddy of theirs, Ryan and Chris, that bought Anthony's buggy, old buggy. The Rock Bouncer-esque buggy. And Uncle Ed, his wife... And who else are we missing?
Horton came into camp on Friday.
Yeah, I was just thinking of our immediate camp. And then Horton came into camp Friday afternoon, early evening. And then his wife came in the evening, Laura. And then...
we had Mr. Dave Ainsworth.
Ainsworth came into camp on Friday as well with his new four-steer buggy, the four-steer Life.
Competition.
Yeah, it is. It is a comp-like buggy, isn't it? It's got cutting brakes and everything.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
A lot of levers. He had a little electrical issue on the trail we went on, but it's okay. We got him back to camp. We had to tow him on the line a little bit, but...
new car blues.
New car blues. Just, got to work those things out, make it the way you want it, and it'll be better the next time he brings it out. I guarantee it. So yeah, we rolled in on Friday... And how many crickets do you think we killed on the way in here? It's cricket season apparently here.
At least a couple thousand.
Holy smokes. This is a crazy... It looked like the road was moving. And I've heard about that here, and it gets bad on 395. It actually makes the road slick. But yeah, we were out here in the dirt, and I was like, holy smokes. Crickets ahoy. So, had a good Friday. We went out and played a little bit.
Yeah, Friday we played. Got a kind of feel for things. Layout of Moonrocks here.
Yeah, got the tires warmed up a little bit on a few rocks, and it's definitely choose your own adventure. I mean, the best way I can describe this place is it looks like Thunder Mountain Railroad at Disneyland without the roller coaster. You are the roller coaster, so you pick your line and go with it. But there's some cool terrain out here, and then the juniper trees and stuff. It's like, wow, it's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it has a Sand Hollow feel to it.
Definitely got into some positions that felt like Sand Hollow, yes, and not as much traction as Sand Hollow, but pretty darn good. Hashtag Sticky Life worked out really well. So you had your Black Betty here last year, right? The Samurai?
Yeah, yep.
And then this year you come back with new and improved rock buggy. And what'd you think?
It was unbelievable. Last year I thought this place was incredible. Did a lot of neat stuff. Kind of pushed the envelope for me at that time with the Suzuki. Got to find some more limitations without too many consequences.
Right.
Unlike this time. We'll probably get to that in a little bit. But yeah, no, it was great. There's just so many more lines here that I had no clue. Just with the buggy, there's mild to wild, but there's wild everywhere. And
there is.
And it was just awesome to just never ending, everywhere you look, you can find a new line. And, the buggy it just works so well. And, you just keep building confidence and getting a real good feel for it. And I think by Saturday and by today, I was Sunday here, really pushing my limitations, but it was still feeling really good and can't wait to improve upon that.
Yeah, for sure. What'd you think, Rhonda, going from Samurai to Buggy Life?
Hashtag Buggy Life for the win. I have no regrets of getting her the Samurai. I loved that rig, but no, Buggy Life is amazing.
It's pretty cool. Buggy Life with stickies and but you get just deeper into crap is what happens. But it's cool. It's amazing what these rigs can do.
Yeah, you gotta. Now the consequences get so big. It's like, okay, this might require 2-3 winches to get you out instead of just one. Or, don't need to be calling a helicopter or anything.
No.
Which James tried to do on Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
He needed the winch a couple times on Friday.
He did. What was going on?
Just getting pretty confident, and I saw this one line right next to Butt Crack there, if you're familiar with Moonrocks. So just if you're looking up at it, it would be to your right. And so I went up Butt Crack, turned around, and came back down. And I thought I could straddle and I would believe the left side of Butt Crack if you're looking at, the right side. Right side if you're looking at it. And I thought I could kind of straddle. There's a big giant crack there. You got to go up and over this big hump on this rock, and you come down this crack, and you're going to end up at the bottom of Butt Crack there. And at the bottom of it, on your driver's side tire, there is a giant hole.
Pinch point
where the rock kind of just stands out. And I turned just a little bit too late. It wasn't quite lined up. I think if I would have been just a tad bit over, it would have been worked out just fine. But I ended up stuffing my driver's side tire right in that big old deep hole with that crack as a wedge point. And if you would have used power to get it out of that, it had broken axle shaft written all over it.
Yeah, so, it was a bind.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad bind. So unfortunately, we had to get a couple winches. Jason, rescue team.
I got you kind of tethered so that you were getting more level because you had some body roll going on, and then
and his passenger rear was kind of sliding down into Butt Crack.
That's right. Yeah, keeping the ass end from sliding into Butt Crack for sure. And then Ryan came over with his big old buggy and got his winch going eventually to pull you back. But got you recovered, and then you just tucked your tail between your legs and went back to camp.
Yeah, at least for a little while.
But prior to that, we did that crack that was, I don't know, freaking 400 feet to the left of Butt Crack. And it was there was 2 cracks there. There was one that definitely had been run a few times, or a lot, I should say, and then the one that I tried that was not good. Not many tire tracks at all in that thing, and I got in there and I go, this isn't good. Back up. Let me try this line. I see a line, and tried it and got in there, and then the ascent slipped off, and then I was up against my passenger side, and into the freaking cage a little bit there. But so you buzzed over and then pulled on the top of the cage to
level you back out.
Yeah, get me leveled out, and then I was able to drive forward. So you just kind of let some line out, kept me somewhat level, and then once I got going, then I was able to drive right out of the crack, which was kind of fun. And then you're like, oh, I want to try it.
Yeah, a little case of monkey see, monkey do. And, the crack to the right of that, I really like that one. I did it in the Suzuki last year. And then I did it this year with the buggy. Worked out great. And then I figured since my buggy's just a tad bit wider than yours, I thought I would have a little bit better luck staying on the wall. Getting tires wedged into the V-crack so you don't slip down. And I just did the same thing. I slipped off the wall and right on the passenger side, knocked out a passenger mirror.
Yeah.
And that mirror got some abuse. I think I hit it pretty good twice.
It definitely is not looking too good.
And same thing. Jason zipped right around and he hooked hooked his winch line to my cage and pulled me back level, and I didn't make it as far into the obstacle as Jason did, so I just backed out.
Yeah, it was like fishing. It felt like I remember Woody saying, "Oh yeah, going fishing for buggies," and at Sand Hollow, and that's what it felt like because you're tugging on the rig as we're letting you down. But yeah, that was good. So we headed back to camp. It was what were you gonna say, Rhonda?
You guys are missing one.
What are we missing?
I don't know if you call it a rescue, but yeah, there was another crack James was doing, and I think it was Jason and Dave was with us, and you guys did the right line, and then James decided to do the left crack.
That's right.
And all of a sudden, the buggy just turned off, and we didn't know what was going on. Right. So Jason, hooked up and pulled them back. And then Anthony came over to look at it and realized James ran out of fuel.
You were out of fuel.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
So when we first got here and fired the new buggy up, not sure what was going on. I think the computer wasn't self-learning on the EFI about the altitude.
Yeah, it was not happy.
It was not happy. It was running extremely, extremely rich. And I thought I had a full tank, but I don't think I did. And so by the time, running around and everything with it running not, on the rich side, using a little more fuel than normal. No fuel gauge, of course.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And just got into a really nice tight spot, and she died and didn't think to check the fuel tank, and that was the first thing Rhonda said. I got to give her the credit on that one. So Anthony came over and looked at it and was like, dude, you got no fuel pressure. Have you checked your tank? And we popped the cap and bone dry.
Sure. Wow. So yeah, you just splashed some fuel in it, and then you were able to fire back up. And
yeah, Dave ran back to camp.
That's right.
Grabbed a fuel can off the trailer and came back and up and running.
There you go. Yeah, it runs better with fuel for some reason.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah, who knew? And then we can't forget about, let's see, we finished up, and then the racing pigeons.
Oh, yeah, that was super cool.
So Carlos's daughter's friend was with him, and I guess her dad has racing pigeons, and so sent him 30-some-odd pigeons, 27 pigeons in a metal cage on up here. And he says, yeah, when you get to camp, just set it down on the ground, the cage, and then give them some water and let them hang out for an hour or so to kind of get acclimated. And then he says, okay, was it 5 o'clock when you let them go? something like that.
No, it was like 2. It was actually before we
that's
headed out
right.
on
It was
the trail.
before we headed out. That's
yeah,
right.
So about 2:00.
That's right. It was 2:30ish, and it just opened up the cage, and all these pigeons came racing out of there and flew around in a few circles, and then headed back home to Modesto area or somewhere in there.
Outside of Elk Grove.
Elk Grove, yeah. So near Sac and what have you. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I guess we got a report last night that they all made it. There was one straggler that came back on Friday.
Yeah, he saw the commute traffic.
Yeah,
and
he
was
said,
like,
"The hell with
that."
this. I'm gonna stay another night at Moonrocks." So he came back, hopped in the cage, hung out there, and then Carlos released him yesterday morning, and he made it back last night. So
yeah, I don't think that pigeon even liked the California roads.
No, it is. It's wild. That was never heard of racing pigeons before. So pretty. Pretty good. Yeah, then we came back, and then we had the buffet, the fajitas that Carlos whipped up.
Yeah, those fajitas were
there. That
incredible.
was good. Oh my gosh, they were so good. I think I had 3 big tortillas full. But yeah, so good dinner, and just kind of hung out, and we were all pretty tired from driving all day, getting up here, getting camp set up and everything, and so I know I hit the rack about 9:30, 9:45, I think it was.
Yeah, I think you did an Irish goodbye.
Yeah, I did an Irish goodbye. Just no campfire, nothing. I just said, "Boop, gone, she gone." But you stayed up a little later, huh?
Yeah, I got talking with Anthony, and he's like, "Yeah, you want to go on a night run?" And I'm like, "Always." So. So he fired up his rig, and Ryan fired up his rig, and we just kind of went out and about. It was really awesome to ride around in Anthony's 4-steer to kind of get a feel for that and see what that's like. That might be something it's gonna, add to the new buggy in a couple of years. But yeah, it was an awesome ride. I mean, Anthony's buggy is just so stable and so smooth, and that rear steer just makes it totally unfair sometimes to line up. He's like, so far out of position, and then just crabs walks it right over and straight up, So, but Anthony's a really good driver, and the rig works very well. And then we kind of played around quite a bit. I think we played around for about another hour and a half, and then we ended up at the wall.
Yep.
So how would you describe that wall, Jason?
So I saw it in daylight today, Sunday, and we were standing at the base of it. So it's very backdoor-esque. It is a wall, steep, and then it plateaus out a tiny bit, and then it's just another climb again.
Yeah, major vertical. Kind of got a bank a little bit left.
And then, you kind of walk the front end over to the left, which doesn't feel real good, but that's what you got to do. And hope you keep traction, and then you crawl right up to the top. But yeah, I was looking at that today, and I was like, whoa, that was pretty gnarly. We'll talk about that one here more in detail. Yeah. But yeah, you.
So Ryan that night, or Anthony, made it up. It took him, a few tries just to find the right line for his buggy. And, of course, it was night, so your vision is not as, well in the daytime. And but, he was able to make it right up it. And then Ryan, he kind of was looking at it and was like, I'll put tires on it, and just kind of see, how it was going.
Feel it out.
He would just wanted to fill it out. And
he's got some length. He's got some wheelbase. So
I think his rig's around 120 on the wheelbase.
It's definitely got some wheelbase to it.
Definitely rock bouncer-esque rig.
Yeah.
Rear steer. And so, he's getting on it pretty good. Probably 4 or 5 college tries. Didn't make it up. And then, Anthony, gave him a sign, just one more, no big deal. And he gives it another college try, doesn't make it. And so he was getting ready as he was backing off. Anthony and I started to turn and like we were gonna, go back and hop into his buggy, and meet him around and down, and he just floored it. I mean, it was like the throttle was just stuck, and he bounced it up the first undercut because the base is super undercut, and launched it, landed in the middle part, and then all rev limiter, big horsepower, and with the part that he was supposed to bank left, he stayed straight.
Yeah.
And he went up almost to the top of that, which is not really good because it's got a huge kind of lip on it.
Yeah.
And if you hit it with too much speed, I could see it
going over backwards.
Flipping you over backwards, and that's probably about a 4 or 5 length, buggy length tumble fall down. It wouldn't have been good.
Yeah.
And so he turns left at the last second, and there's a huge lip right there, and he catches that lip, and at the speed he was going, I mean, all 4 tires in the air. He launched, he checked with mission control and completely cleared the top knob of, the wall, all 4 tires off by a good 5 feet or better, clearing the knob, going up and over, and landed just right, probably about 5 feet from us, and, stopped, shut down the buggy, and he was just like, how was that?
You said that was the biggest send you've ever witnessed.
Yeah, definitely. Even down there at King of the Hammers, watching, back door.
Sure.
Get crazy. I think this wall, I mean, it's pretty darn steep, and I think the way that it banks up left, it's longer than back door.
Sure.
I would have to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was just the amount of hang time that was there was just crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. So what were we calling him? Rocket Man Ryan.
Rocket Man Ryan.
Ooh, we got thunder in the background here. We may be running into the landslide here soon. We'll see. We got some good showers yesterday. So yeah, I think that kind of wraps up Friday. Let's go into Saturday. So woke up, everybody was kind of moving around by like 8:30 or so, 8:30, and breakfast. Had a good breakfast going over there. Uncle Ed rolled out some tater tots and eggs and bacon and sausage and fruit, and yeah, that was some good breakfast.
Yeah, good hearty breakfast.
Yeah, so load up for the day, and then kind of got things cleaned up and fueled up the rigs and checked everything out, and then headed out outside of camp. No, but before that, let's go ahead and talk about that.
Talk about the they had a nice cleanup here.
Friends of Moonrocks.
Friends of Moonrocks.
Yep. And got to see Harry Wagner, who's I don't know if it's like president or whatever, but he ramrods that group. So then there was a bunch of overlanders that came in, gladiators with traction boards and all kinds of good stuff, huh, James?
Yeah, Jason's starting his 10-step program, how to deal with overlanders.
Right.
I'm on step 1.
Hey, I went over there. I gave them stickers, and it was fun. It was cool meeting people. I mean, I just love people getting out wheeling, and so there was couple vendors there, 4-wheel parts, Offroad West.
Offroad Warehouse, was it?
Yeah, Offroad Warehouse, maybe it was. And then, of course, Friends of Moonrocks had their booth where you sign in so you can get, that they can give to the state to show how many people were here.
There was a big turnout.
It was a really good turnout. And then the Nevada Off-Road Association, so really cool. So, yeah, talked to a few people. We talked to a BOM guy that came over, Chad. It's Chad. So.
Yeah, I believe his name was Chad, and he also covered, was it Sand Mountain?
Sand Mountain was his main territory, yeah.
And they're working on, he's, I guess, having a hand in both now.
Yeah. And, the message talking with Chad and Harry is that, there is a large contingent of, good off-roaders that are coming out here and doing cleanups and trying to keep this place open to the public. And let me tell you, if you haven't been out here, it is pretty darn spectacular, and there's some great wheeling. And then, not just Moonrocks area itself, the surrounding area, there's a ton of trails.
Yeah, there's
for everything.
absolute ton of trails. I mean, there's literally something for everybody here, whether it's the rocks, dirt bikes, side-by-sides. You can do a lot of overland roads
There's quads out here.
Quads, I mean, dirt bikes, you name it, you can do it out here.
Yeah. And he says, just spread the message that, there's a lot of good wheelers out there that are taking care of this place and keeping it clean. And it's damn spotless today. And we're always picking up stuff out on the trail there, finding, litter out there, broken Toyota parts and cans and stuff like that. So, tool bags.
But I have to say, even before the cleanup, the place was in remarkably great shape. It seems like most people out here are doing their part and, keeping the place clean.
Right.
But yeah, no, it was very clean out here, and I think that's the main key is just keep clean up after yourself. And if you see trash that's not yours, pick it up.
Yeah.
And then also on that, we're all out here to have fun, whatever avenue it is. But you also have to be responsible when you're out here and be safe when you're doing it.
Right.
Make sure you have your seatbelt on. If you have harnesses, that's even better.
Yep.
If you're definitely on dirt bikes, quads, anything like that, wear your helmet. Side-by-sides. If you're getting really extreme in rock buggies, probably good to wear a helmet too.
Put the helmet on.
So that's just to stress that safety again too. That's another avenue just to help keep these trails open for us now and for the future generations.
Yeah, and it's a unique area because one of the main camps, like where we're at, we're right across from Butt Crack here. They call it the world famous Butt Crack obstacle at Moonrocks. But you're literally, I mean, you could walk to that obstacle in 3 minutes. I mean, you're right here. And there's that, that comfort level. It's like, oh, I can still see my camp, but it's gnarly. I mean, shit can go sideways in a hurry, as we know. And, you just gotta be smart about the whole thing and buckle up and helmet. Highly recommended for some of these extreme walls and stuff. Cracks, even the cracks.
Yeah, the cracks you slide down in, get wedged. It's really easy to have, they're so deep that when you slide down in there, you're right there up against the rocks.
You're wedged. It's a wedgie. And especially with the, no rear steer, we're committed. You slide that ass end in. You just got to figure out a way to get out or get winched because, we don't have the that little log splitter lever to twist the rear tires up.
And we've been picking up on some other some different ways to control your rig. I mean, you get wedged in there like that, where say your rear is starting to fall in, and you can. If you have the ability to do front digs and take the front out and, you got the rear only, and sometimes you can...
That almost worked for you. You were able to kind of work the steering wheel and just rear only, and the ass end started climbing back up the wall, which was impressive. But then you couldn't progress forward, and then it would just fall back down. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of techniques, and this is a great place to practice that stuff and get a feel for your rig. I know Dave felt a lot better about his rig after the weekend, and you too, right? I mean, it's just
this is epic, and coming from the Suzuki to this, I'm really glad I paid some dues with that Suzuki because it just made me such a better wheeler now that I'm into the buggy territory. That's even more capable and actually have the power to do things. It's not necessarily, you're looking to bounce it off the rev limiter, but you're able to crawl into situations that are, extremely, extremely technical.
Yep.
But you need that big V8 power, not necessarily to light them up and bounce it off the rev limiter, but to just kind of ease on out of it. It's got the torque and momentum that if you need to just, blip the throttle, you can pull out of just about anything.
And also to heat up the stickies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, we headed out, and we had 7 rigs. Oh, so we met the day before. We met Chad and Sarah from the Dang Gang.
Dang Gang, OGs.
And he's one of the OGs. He's one of the guys that started the club. So that was pretty cool. He was celebrating his birthday out here. I guess there was supposed to be some more people showing up, but plans changed. So, but he came out anyway. So they were camped by themselves, just up from us a little bit, and chatted with him a little bit on Friday, and then Saturday morning. We go, hey, you want to follow us? We're not sure. We kind of have a pin drop of where we're headed, but we don't know for sure what we're going to find of this trail that we were looking for. And so we headed out into the Nevada desert, and man, it was beautiful. There was some really cool roads going everywhere. You definitely get lost if you don't have a good Gaia GPS or Onyx or something out there. We had a route that I drew up at home, trying to get from point A camp to point B, this trailhead. And for some reason, it didn't save on my phone, but luckily I shared it with Rhonda, and she was able to be our navigator, and we were able to get there pretty much exactly how we had it drew up, huh?
Yeah, it worked out great.
Yeah. So following the map wasn't too bad on Onyx, huh?
No, it was really easy to follow and use, and
we had the pin drop and then the line, and just stay on that route and go. So that was good. So unfortunately, we got real close to the trailhead, and Dave started having problems. Heated up. There was a big hill, big long climb, and I know
everybody heated up.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting warm. I wasn't overheating or anything, but it definitely was generating the tranny temp was coming up because we were in high range, 4-wheel drive climbing this hill, and then the motor got up to like 215 or so, 220 maybe. So we got up there, we took a break, let everybody cool down, and unfortunately, Dave, it's a water-cooled turbo, the Wu-Tang war whistle there, and unfortunately, it was not getting any water. It was steaming, so he had to bleed that out, and it took a while to get there was a big air pocket there.
A lot of air. I was, I hate to see people have problems, but that was an excellent learning experience for me, because I'd never seen or heard a coolant system boiling internally. If the motor was off, you could hear you could hear the coolant or
air
water. It was boiling inside the tubes, but yet it was airlocked.
Right.
And so we kind of just had to go around to the fittings and kind of had to crack them and get the radiator on the high side, I believe.
Yeah, backed up the hill, so the radiator's in the back on his little buggy, and so got it so it was elevated and could hopefully burp and get some water down into the system there.
Ended up taking, I believe, 5 or 6 water bottles. It took a lot of water.
It did, and again, this was a new buggy to him, so he was,
New car blues,
like, what's going on, but he was able to diagnose it. He's a good mechanic, and so he was ready to just say, hey, you guys go, I'll keep tinkering with this and I'll catch up, but then about 5 minutes later he had it finally purged, and we got enough water in it, and so we were back on the road and dropped down into this canyon, and then found the beginning of this trail that started out real mild, and then it got real wild.
No, it
rock
went
trail
from mild to wild. I think after the first corner.
Yeah. It was a really, really cool trail, scenic. You were in the base of this canyon and some big ass boulders, and there was a few different lines to try. Man, the first 2 obstacles, I got denied. I hit my front diff like 4 times. I mean, just full cased it, and the ass end kept sliding over. It was like the perfect tank trap wheelbase for my rig. It just, all 4 tires were climbing. Couldn't get traction on anything. I'm working the wheel. I'm trying everything I can. Suck down. Nothing was working. So, short of just getting pissed off and just putting the hammer down, I backed up and then took an alternate line that was walked right up. It was much easier, but I could not get that main line. So I'm like, oh man, is it going to be one of those days? Then the second obstacle, I got denied a couple of times, but then I made it, and I'm like, okay, a little redemption. But all of us were having trouble. Everybody was having some sort of issues. It was. They were just, traction wasn't real good out there.
Traction wasn't real good. It was a lot of silt. In between the boulders, it was major. It looked like it gets a lot of water flow down that in the winter.
Well, they had a huge storm. I think it was last weekend.
Yes.
That just even the main roads were just washed out, and they graded the roads, so the main roads were okay.
Yeah.
But the offshoots, they were even getting to the trail. There was a lot of rutted trails out here.
You're right. There was some of those roads that we were on that we had to straddle ruts or get in the rut because it was really, really washed out in spots. Other roads were totally fine. But yeah, it was like Nevada flash flood rains or something that hit hard a week and a half ago or so. So that canyon, you get in there and then you hit high center on some rocks, and then your front tires were just fighting for traction in a big old hole and couldn't get any traction at all.
Yeah, I did a heck of a pivot. I think it was a third off.
Oh, that pivot was incredible.
Yeah.
I wish I had that on video. I've never seen a rig turn that quick. Not even a 4-steer buggy. That you just went did like a more than a 90-degree
Yeah,
left.
it was every bit of a 90.
You didn't even have a turn signal on or nothing. It just went I was like, holy smokes. So that was fun.
I'm from California. We don't use
You don't use turn signals, right? And we had the buggies, and then we had Horton's rig, the old Toyota 4Runner that came.
I couldn't believe that thing, man. After the pivot, and I think I got up, another couple bends up ahead pretty quick. God, that buggy was just working great. And, I turned and looked at Rhonda. I was like, man, I don't know if Horton's going to make it up this.
Yeah.
And, I turn around and, here comes crew, and there's Horton just chugging right along.
Right? Yeah. He does, and did great. And so, yeah, we got about halfway through the trail, and that's where we stopped and got everybody caught up because there was a pretty gnarly wall in that section. A couple of people had to winch, and anyways, we got everybody up, and then it was like, okay, let's continue up, and then
isn't that the spot? So Dave being the last guy in line, everybody's digging everything out.
Yeah,
that he walked right up that last obstacle, and parked, and that's when he parked on the hill, I believe.
Yeah,
and so we got everybody up, and we were getting ready to go, and no, just clicking.
No movement. The starter would not engage, wouldn't turn. You hear it click, but it wasn't working. So we're like, oh crap, what do we do now? So he quickly started diagnosing everything, and we're like, okay. And
Glenn came.
Somebody came running down the hill there, and it was Glenn Blake. So he was texting him, and I said, hey, we're out headed towards the trail. I'll drop a pin. So we dropped a pin at the where the beginning of the trail was, and then he brought the old XJ out and parked at the top, and then walked down the trail and met us. So that was cool. That was a lot of fun. And of course, he jumped right in and started helping diagnose and try things, and we ended up pulling the starter out and testing it with some jumper cables, and it worked. And cleaned it up a little bit. With some PB blaster, to see if it was like, the bearings seemed okay, but anyways, we put it back in, and it still wouldn't go. So there was some just major electrical drop that wasn't giving the starter full power, and then took some jumper cable straight from the battery to the starter, and boom, it kicked and fired right off.
Yep.
So that was good. It's a little Ecotech engine in there, little 4-banger. But yeah, so got him running again. So he was like, man, I hate being that guy. And he was that guy twice and coming up on a third time. But anyways, so we continue up the trail, and there's a couple more one good sized waterfall, and Horton had to get winched up that one, I guess.
Yeah, I wish I could have saw everybody go up that. I kind of just motored on.
You took it all the way to the end of the trail, and you parked up there.
I didn't think I was motoring that far, but apparently I did. So
it was cool. I mean, you're in there in the pinyon pines, and just beautiful freaking country, man. And this canyon. Then we pop up at the top, saw Glenn's XJ up there, and then waited for everybody else to come up and rendezvous, and so it was a good trail. But I think it was like 4. We were 4.5 hours into the trip at that point.
Yeah, we actually had now that I think about it, at the top of the really steep hill, Ryan actually had a lifter that was making noise.
Oh, that's right.
So we had to stop and, along with everybody else cooling down and figuring out, burping the coolant system.
Chad had a bad battery, so we jumped him, got him started, and then didn't shut him off. So he kept running. Everybody was kind of working through a little something, I guess. I don't know. I was okay.
Yeah, you were okay. Knock on wood. That was one of the first times it wasn't me.
Yeah, right.
So,
and we didn't have a whole lot of tools. I brought one tool bag. Of course, Horton had some tools, so we were using those 2 tool bags to kind of get stuff
situated,
running again.
Out.
Yeah. But yeah, and then it was like, okay, because it was later, it was like 4:30-ish, 5 o'clock, I don't know. It was getting kind of late, and we knew a storm was coming.
Yeah, storm was looking ugly up
so
there.
we go, man, we got to get back. Well, Anthony and Carlos need to get back to get dinner going. Anthony was in charge of dinner that night. And then Dave says, hey, man, I'm not charging.
Got to go.
So he goes, I got to go. So he left. And
Chad left because he was having problems.
Right.
Too.
And then Chad left. And then also, that was the 3 of them went off. And so I said, okay, we'll meet you back at camp. And then the rest of the people came up the trail. We met up there, Horton and Ryan, and it was you and I and Glenn. So we start booking back to camp, and real easy way that Glenn found on the way back. I mean, damn near fire roads,
Yeah, fire roads at the start at the top of the trail. It had some nice whoops in it, and I was in low, in 3rd gear, and I mean, Glenn's gone.
Oh yeah, he was gone. So yeah, then I get this panic phone call from Dave, going, "Hey, I'm dead. They left me. I don't know, where you guys are at." And I said, "Well, we're definitely behind you." So I said, "Drop a pin." So then had to work a little bit. They took an alternate route that wasn't the most paved route. So you and I went up and met up with him.
Yeah,
and we crest over the hill, and he goes, "Yeah, camp's right over this hill." And we look, and it's kind of a steep, washed out, downhill trail, but not crazy hard, but it was definitely steeper. And he goes, "Yeah, just
with a dead stick rig."
With a dead stick, he's got nothing, and it's hydraulic steering, so there's no gearbox or anything. So, you can turn a little bit, but it's really difficult.
It was impressive, I'd have to say, when we started talking about the downhill, the way he used the tool bag to work that out to his benefit.
The tool bag?
Yeah, like far as his pocket of tools and knowledge that he had with that buggy.
I thought you meant like a physical tool bag, because I'm like, he didn't have any tools.
So, you hooked up to him, got a strap on him and pulled him, to the...
Got him to the top of the hill, crested over the top of the hill.
Yeah, crested over the top of the hill. You unhooked the strap. And, he went down, and we followed him to make sure in case something happened.
He coasted quite a ways.
Yeah, he coasted a long ways in case he needed to pull back because he couldn't make a turn or something.
And there was a rocky section kind of halfway down that was some good, bigger than, double head-sized boulders and stuff, that would act as a wheel chock, but he was able to roll over them pretty good.
Yeah, and as he was going down, and he was able to work it around where... the steering wasn't great, because with the hydraulic.
Yeah.
But he really used his cutting brakes.
Yeah,
I could
to
see,
steer it.
Yeah, which cutting brake he was using and when. And, man,
yeah, because you were behind him.
Yeah, he was, you'd see, the right rear locked, and then you'd see left rear locked. And
right.
He was it manipulated great.
Yeah.
He did a really great job navigating a dead stick buggy down that hill.
Yeah, so it actually worked out pretty good. And then I towed him the rest of the way back to camp. It's just a main dirt road, and so got him back into camp, and he started working on it, and we started unpacking our rigs, and then holy smokes, the wind kicked up.
Oh man, I think that was actually worse than hammers.
It was some crazy wind that just came out of nowhere, man, and we knew a storm front was coming. Well, that was it, and then it was like, okay, the wind kind of died a little bit, and then here came the rain, and everybody's tarping up the buggies and covering everything and putting everything away that don't want wet. And then we ran and hid in my camper, watched the storm. I mean, it rained for a good hour plus of hard rain.
Yeah, very hard rain.
Hard rain and thunder, lightning. I mean, it was quite the show. So we were in there, James, Rhonda, and Glenn and I, and we're just had some chips and salsa and just hanging out and watched the storm go through. And then we get a text from Anthony that dinner's ready, and it's in the big ass Taj Mahal motorhome. It's beyond the Taj Mahal. That thing.
That's like 2 Taj Mahals.
Yeah.
That's a freaking castle.
It is crazy. I didn't catch the brand name, but
I didn't either.
It was a diesel pusher. It was a freaking beautiful bus. Coach, I guess you would call it. Tile floors, everything was just to the nines.
2 full bathrooms.
2 full baths. That's what was wild. So there was the mid, bath, full bath. And then there's a couple bunk beds, and then you go into the master bedroom, and then there's a full bath at the back of the RV.
TVs coming down from the
TVs everywhere, and it's like, oh my God, fireplace, of course, And
TV on the outside of the
There was
rig.
TV outside, the Dometic fridge on the outside. Yeah, it was a nice rig. And so Ryan was nice enough to invite all of us. So I think there was 14 of us inside the RV eating dinner. And so he turned one of the bunk beds into the buffet. So I called it the bunk bed buffet.
It was a great bunk bed
Tri-tip chicken, Caesar salad. And, I mean, we had a lot of great chows. So
here comes that wave.
Yeah, that next wave of storm, I think, is coming in here. We might have to wrap this up pretty quick. Yeah, it's definitely looking gray and ominous. We did hear thunder earlier. So welcome to Nevada. So anyways, great dinner. And it was still raining. So we just hung out in there and BS'd, and it got pretty good with the conversations.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people worked through a lot of new car blues that day. Carlos had a real bad break first day.
That was Friday afternoon.
He broke the rear output
of his transfer case, Toyota transfer case.
Yeah, too many torques.
Yes, low.
But yeah, so it was just great banter. Everybody's got an awesome sense of humor. We were just anybody that you could take a shot at.
Gotta have thick skin in this group.
Yeah, it was flying, but it was absolutely hilarious and such an amazing time. And I mean, Ryan, man, that guy just, your glass is getting empty. Here's another one.
Yeah,
kept just man. What a host.
It was awesome. So, yeah, Rocket Man Ryan, thank you so much. I don't know if he likes that name, though, but that's what we call him because he earned it.
Right.
But, yeah, and then the weather broke. And we gotta talk about this. So there was so much rain that the road turned into a river, and there was water coming down everywhere, right?
Great.
And so there's people driving because there's 2 big camps beyond here, and so people are driving down the road, and we had prime view of these cars coming down the road, and then some of them just, I don't know if they didn't see the water or what, but a couple of them just plowed right into the stream.
Well, the stream was the lesser of 2 evils. There was a gnarly ditch that was to the left of the
dugout.
stream.
Yeah,
like a giant, probably 2-3 foot deep ditch,
right?
At least, and there was a couple people that just came bombing.
Yeah,
they were making a beeline for the road, and they decided not to go through the stream. And ended up hitting that ditch, and I guarantee you,
that one guy's alignment had to be off. Man.
I think there was more than that going on. I mean, that could have been some Ben A arms how hard he hit. But it was a first class show watching everybody floor it through the river or catch the ditch.
Yeah, and then we were honking the horn on the RV. That was hilarious. And then there was was that a Toyota? That was a Tacoma, right? That went up the hill beside us, and there was raining, water coming down the hill, and I'm like, "What are you doing, dude?" And then he stopped like halfway up, and then was able to get going again, which was pretty damn remarkable. But I'm like, and we're honking the horn, and then so
he finally makes it to the top.
Yeah,
we gave a few more honks.
Yeah, and then came back down. And then Anthony was trying to put his kids down, and we're over here honking the horn, and so he goes yelling at Carlos's RV because he thought the girls were in there honking the horn.
Yeah, Carlos, he exited out the back, told the girls, "Hey, tell them I'm not here,"
So yeah, it was funny, but then the weather broke, and then I don't know, night run happened. So
another night run.
We go out, and I was like, okay, I just, kind of watch. And then, you took me over to that stupid wall. And I was looking at that. And then I said, all right, well, I'll stick some tires on it. And then got the tires hot. And then just freaking backed up and hit it with the purse. And, it was a wild ride, man, because it finally bites. And then you got to work it right. And then you got to just let that front end drift left and then stay in it. Because you do not want to back up down this thing. That is not an option.
No.
So, buggy works good and went up. And so Dave was riding with me.
Well, he missed the first ride.
He missed the first ride because, but he was riding with me that night because, his buggy was broken, unfortunately. But... so he goes, hey, are you going to do it again? I want to go up it. And I'm like, okay, hop in. Let's go up again. So went up it twice. You went up it. And then Anthony made it up in his 4-steer buggy. And then, so that was good.
The rocks were smoking after you.
They were smoking. That was hilarious. Yeah, so it generated enough heat. There was burning rubber on the rocks smoking. Yeah, it's all the water. I mean, the moisture, which is good, helps wash off the rocks, but it also can make them slick too. So had to dry them off a little bit for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So so that was good. And then we did a couple other lines, and then came back to camp, and just kind of eased into the evening around. I don't know. It was around midnight when I finally got back in the camper, I think it was, right?
Yeah, it was real late.
Took a hot shower. That felt great. Because just got wind-blown sand, I was like, oh my God, I got to take a shower before I go to bed here. And it was great. And then this morning we were in charge of breakfast, Sunday morning. So, I had this harebrained idea that I ran by you guys. Rhonda's like, all right, well, let's do it. So what do we have, Rhonda?
Jason's amazing hash. I don't know what
I think we should call it the Moonrocks hash.
The Moonrocks hash. All right, there you go. Yeah, it's a mixture of chicken, chorizo, mushrooms, bell pepper, poblano peppers, and sweet potato.
Yeah, we use sweet potatoes instead of regular potatoes there, and then did some eggs over easy and throw that on top, and man, that turned out pretty good.
Open-minded hash is what I'm going to
Open-minded hash. Yeah, I warned everybody last night at dinner. I go, okay, we're in charge of breakfast, but it's not your traditional bacon and eggs, so have an open mind.
Yeah, the chorizo, that had a nice kick to it, and
I don't think anybody was disappointed.
No.
And then Uncle Ed made his famous camp donuts to serve up on the side there, so those were good.
Yeah, Uncle Ed needs to open up a donut shop.
Uncle Ed's Donuts. That's got a good ring to it.
It does.
I like it. So then after breakfast, everybody kind of started cleaning up stuff and packing, and beautiful day. I mean, just perfect weather, no wind, and wasn't hot. Wasn't cold. Everybody's walking around in t-shirts, shorts, or light pants, whatever. And so then some people started leaving. Ryan, Chris left early, and then a few of them, Ed and Anthony left, and then Carlos, and then so we're sitting here, and Dave and us just kind of hung out a little bit, and he worked on his rig, got it going so he could, he ran into town and got some parts, got a new starter and alternator, charged up the battery, and then he was able to drive on the trailer. So, that was good. And then, you and I went out and did a little more wheeling.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, it was an awesome lines we found there on the backside.
Good we found some cracks to play in, and straddle, and it was like, okay, this is cool.
That last line before I found my limitations.
Yeah,
that was a wicked cool line.
Yeah, there was some steep. There was one hill where you had a flat tire. Your valve core was leaking, so I had to run back to camp. It took like a whopping 4 minutes to get back to camp, which is awesome. And grabbed the air chuck and the hose, and then ran back up and filled up your tire. And then there was this. It wasn't a crazy obstacle, but it
can get western.
It got western in a hurry, and I looked down, and I'm like, that's like a 4-foot drop off there on the back side. I mean, just drop off. And I'm hanging off the skid plate with front wheels in the air. I could barely catch a little bit of rock with my driver's front.
And you were sliding sideways.
And I was sliding. The ass end was sliding over. I go, this is not good. I'm going to pirouette off my driver's front tire here and end up sideways on my lid. And so I was able to back up a little bit and kind of get repositioned. And then I had to give it hit it with the purse a little bit to get the belly off the rock. And then it slid right down. And once the front tires touched, I was like, okay, we're good now. But that was, it was pretty wild.
It's a big drop off on there once you peer over the top.
Yeah.
And you definitely had to go a little higher.
Yeah.
Just the way your wheelbase
yep.
was. And that was actually my favorite line with the Suzuki here. The Suzuki, for some reason, I guess it was just perfect wheelbase for it.
Shorter wheelbase, yeah.
Would walk right through there, and it was just awesome. It was one of my favorite obstacles.
Yeah.
But I definitely, I think we got a little video, and you can hear
Did you? Oh, okay.
Video going.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was getting western. So, and I know my buggy pretty good, and I'm like, yeah, this is not going to end well if I continue on this line. So, and then we went out, we just kind of exploring the left side as you're looking at the rock formations here, and got out into some more fun little hills. And then I found one that was traveled before, but it hasn't been traveled in a while, and I stuck tires on it, and then I got my rear passenger rear just buried down in there, and I just couldn't. I was bellied out, so I backed off, and then you came over, and we're looking at it and go, okay, well, let's see. And you gave it 3 or 4 tries, and then finally had to back off each time, and then really took a far right line, and it was literally like an A at the top, or a teepee, whatever you want to call it. It was steep on both sides of this rock, this edge, and you got the tire out on the outside of the edge, so it was actually worked out to your benefit.
It anchored me.
It anchored you, exactly.
And it that drop off on the other side wasn't good either.
No. That was
probably 12.
13 easy 8 to 12 feet. It got steeper as it went.
Rhonda can vouch for that.
Yeah, we got to the top. I'm like, you do realize you're right on the edge, right? Because I'm just looking down like, we don't want to go that way.
Yeah.
That's a big drop.
Yeah, and your tire hooked, and just before your axle started dragging, the actual axle tube, because that tire was hanging off over the edge of the rock, you turned just a little bit driver, and it caught enough traction and just walked right back over the rock. By that time, your ass end was lined up perfectly, and you were able to drive right out of it.
Hole on the
huge hole
on the passenger, or no, driver rear.
Yeah,
sorry, driver rear.
Yeah, and you were committed at that point. There was no way you were going to back down that section. So it was like, okay. And then it was an off-camber drop-off.
Yeah, off-camber. One of the things, I follow Rec Gear Bronson.
Oh, yeah.
And I've picked up some really handy tips from them. And, I put it in the front only to kind of stretch your wheelbase out a little bit, and it worked like a charm coming down that off camber.
Well, that, and you don't have the rear end pushing you down that hill like when you impact, because it wasn't a smooth departure. A little bit of a point there at the bottom, and so you got your front tires that are digging and pulling the rig forward instead of the ass end pushing as well. So yeah, it's a good tip there to. When in doubt, throttle out for sure. If it starts, ass end starts coming over, passing you up.
Right.
But it wasn't. You were super stable.
Yeah, it was super stable, and, stretching the wheelbase out. And then, plus, if you throttle out when you're in front only, it's going to pull you versus push, your back end's not giving you that big surge.
Right, exactly. So yeah, we get down off that one, and then there was a good obstacle next to it. It was another 4 or 5 foot wall, but it rounded right over.
And it kind of had an off-camber drop. It kind of had an off-camber drop to the right. And but it wasn't, once you kind of made the turn and got your tires kind of pulled over to the right just a little bit, it kind of leveled yourself out a little bit.
Yeah, so you went down it, and then I went up it the opposite direction, and then there was... we went out, there was like this lone little rock pile out by itself, so I just, never been here before, wanted to check it out, so went over there, put some tires on that, and had fun, and came back, and then I was kind of working our way back to camp, and I saw this huge rock ledge, I guess you could call it, and then it was dirt, and it increasingly got taller and taller as you went forward.
On the driver's side.
Yeah, so we were hitting it from the driver's side, so I'm like, okay, well, let's just lay the rig on its side here and see how she feels, get reacquainted with the, how far you can go, F around and find out. And so I went up, and I'm like, okay, stable, okay. And then I started grabbing onto the driver bar there because, I was leaning pretty good.
Your shocks were completely bottomed.
Maxed out.
Yeah,
for, bump stops were working.
For the droop.
I
was blown away. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And the body was leaning a lot at that point because it was freaking steep. So it was probably... I guess if you're standing next to that wall, it was at that point, it was about 6 feet or so?
I would say 6.
Yeah. So the driver's side was up on the 6 foot wall, and then the passenger's up on just dirt right at the base there. And so it was like, okay. And there was another rock formation you could kind of climb, and it would start to level you out and then go. And I'm like, no, not doing it. I'm going to turn down driver and get off this thing. So I did. And I was like, woo, okay, that was pretty good. And then so I back up and watch you, and you start up it, and you're wider than me, and a little bit longer. So you were real stable till you weren't.
Yeah, I was. I still cannot believe how stable that rig is, and I had a lot of body roll in the Suzuki. So
yeah,
normally in the Suzuki, I would have been, pretty much laid all the way over, just extreme body roll as it gets.
Right.
And even, is tilted right before, the end there, I was still like, it felt great. It was just so stable.
Yeah, and it looked good.
I mean, even Rhonda was pretty comfortable with it at that point. And so we got to a little bit more right to the point where you turned off, and I saw that, I was like, man, I really think it's going to level us out if I can hold the line.
Yeah.
And so started going over there, and I turned slightly, just a hair.
Ever so slightly to the driver's side. Ever so
slightly the wrong way. It tipped like it was going to start to go over. I put it in reverse, or I stopped, I put it in reverse, and then I, just barely touched the throttle to try to creep it back.
Yeah.
And it just went, and I cranked it and floored it, but unfortunately I could not.
It was too late.
It was too late. Could not save it. Went over on my side, solid. It was not a hard hit, but that was the first time I've rolled it over on the side. So
yeah.
Lost a V card on keeping the wheels on the ground.
What did you think, Rhonda? Because it rolled on your side. That ground came up pretty quick, huh?
It did. It came quick. But I just held my seatbelt like you guys always tell me.
Yep.
And, even though my instincts are to put my arms out, I'm like, no,
right.
no, you can't do that. Just hold on. And yeah, the ground was
and you
there.
You had your harnesses on, so you were there, and so you were laying on the side, and then so you were secure. You didn't like.
Oh yeah, no, with those harnesses. I mean,
other than being comfortable laying on your side, you were fine.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, you guys okay? Yeah, we're good. So I backed up and got in position to get the winch out, started dragging the winch line and getting hooked up to the cage there. And then Ron was like, I'm getting out. So you unbelted and basically was able to stand up through the passenger window.
I went out the windshield.
You went out through the windshield, yeah?
We were leaking ATF, and I was getting right like on my feet and shoes.
Okay.
So James was like, well, can you get out? So
I wanted her out of the vehicle.
Yeah.
I don't like leaking fluids. And,
no.
And it was... It was, I wouldn't say it was in the immediate vicinity of the header, but it was that way.
Sure.
Just as a precaution, I wanted her out of the vehicle.
Yeah, for sure. But plus we needed video, so.
Yeah, we did need video.
I wish I was videotaping when I just go, man, this is a good angle. Yeah, and then it was too late. But we all got the aftermath there of it just laying outside. So no fuel leaking. That was good. So you tested the fuel system. So that's, that works good. The vent doesn't leak. So yeah, got you hooked up and pulled you back over. It was kind of a funky angle. I couldn't get at the exact angle I wanted to because there was a tree there, one of the 6 trees out here on the in the desert. But it was fine. Got you upright and secure, and to where you weren't going anywhere. Was able to unhook. Well, I didn't unhook. It kind of caught your tire a little bit, so then I was able to loosen it up, get around your tire, and reposition a little bit, and then put you on enough tether there so that you could drive out of it. So you went to start, make sure there was no oil in the cylinders and stuff. So you left the ignition off and just bumped the starter, right?
Yeah, got back upright. Luckily was not over too long, and turned the ignition off. Bumped it just ever so slightly, sounded fine. So then I, just as a precautionary measure, I bumped it, got a good, almost a full revolution.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, we're good. No binding.
There was no resistance.
No resistance. And, I looked at Jason just to make sure, and he gave me the thumbs up. So we
light it off.
Yeah, lit it off and let the smoke show begin.
Yeah, and then the smell smoky. Didn't smoke too bad, though. It was actually good, just a few seconds, and then it cleared out.
Yeah, made me reminisce, miss the mosquito slayer from the blue Suzuki I started with.
The old Smoky. Yeah. So yeah, then you were able to put it in gear and jockey forward and back and get off that wall, and so that was okay. No blood, no foul on that one.
Yeah, and up there on that wall when you had me tethered, I mean, just to give a perspective on how tall that wall was, because at that point with your tether in the position that I was in, I'm on 16-inch coilovers,
right,
with 43 stickies, and I think my driver's side front tire was still about 3-4 feet off the ground.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, that thing was down there.
It was, and I got some good pictures from the buggy perspective too, and it's like wow. But anyways, yeah. So that was a blast. So I said, hey, let's go back to camp. Let's call it. Go have some lunch, record a podcast, and then pack up and get out of here. So we're looking at some. The sky got very gray over there, didn't it?
Some rain.
Yeah. It's time. Great place, Moonrocks. Definitely check it out. Follow them on. They've got an Instagram and a Facebook page, so you can find out when they're having events out here, cleanup. So yesterday they did that cleanup. They provided lunch and drinks. And then they did a recovery demo and like a crawling demo or something too.
Yeah.
We were out on the trail, unfortunately, so we didn't get to see it. But I heard it was pretty well done. So that's cool. I'm looking forward to getting involved with them in the future, and help spread the word here on the podcast. So if you're in the northern Nevada area, up about 45 minutes from Reno, I would say. So it's close to town there, and come check it out. And even if you just come for a quick little day, check it out during the day. Or there's plenty of room to camp as well. So BOM land, and it's we're trying to keep it public here. So take care of it and leave it cleaner than what you found it. So, with that, anything to wrap it up? Thoughts on the weekend and Moonrocks and Rhonda?
Just another great trip, great people, great wheeling, and great trip. And then just as Jason said, pack it in, pack it out. Just pick up after yourselves and pick up after other people if they happen to leave stuff behind.
Yeah, for sure.
Got to say thanks, Carlos, for another invite, Thanks, TAC One. And just, the wheeling family that we have going here is so awesome. And, meeting new people out here. It's great to continue adding to the group.
Yeah, like Chad and Sarah, with the Dane Gang, they just, hey, go follow us on the trail. And they had a blast yesterday and came over after dinner and hung out in the RV with us. And yeah, good people. So every trip we meet somebody and become off-road friends. So fun stuff.
Yeah, and I can't emphasize enough to pack it in, pack it out.
Yeah, for sure. We've got those nice Trail Hero bags and the Sackett bags and all that stuff. And and especially, like Bronson and Jess, do a good job promoting that as well. But, these canyons, the rain and covered, some stuff. Saw some garbage out there today that, a whole 50, 60 people went through the area yesterday picking up stuff. So, it gets the wind, all that. So, just pick it on up, keep it clean, keep these cool places open for everybody to recreate and have fun, because I know it's been crazy life for me the last couple months, and I needed to get away, and this was very rejuvenating. I was very, very thankful to be out here and hanging out with some cool people and do some fun wheeling. So, well, I think that pretty much puts a bow on Moonrocks. So there you go.
And with that, we're out.
There you go. We're out. And there's Moonrocks.
Moonrocks. I still haven't been out there, but you say I'll have a ball.
Moons over Miami. Yeah, no, it's great. It's choose your own adventure. There are trails around. But even on the trails that you're out on around the area, I mean, they go left, right, up, down, wherever you want to go. So, GPS is highly recommended at Gaia or Onyx. I actually mapped out on Onyx, a route to this trail that we wanted to hit, and it worked out pretty good. I'm still learning it. It's definitely, more quick, user friendly. But Gaia is way more detailed, and I really like Gaia from that standpoint, that you can really, have a lot more information at your fingertips. But it is more complex. It's kind of the ham radio compared to FRS, I would say.
I like Gaia because I paid for 5 years, and I'm going to continue.
Well, there you go. And
more.
If you want to get Gaia, we still have the discount code on our website.
On our at wheelingwinewhiskey.com. Absolutely. Well, super cool, man. That is awesome. I need to make my way out there. Hopefully I can find time. I mean, I'm accruing vacation time rapidly now, which is awesome. And I'm going to use some of that this summer to partake in, Sierra Trek and
right.
And of course our Adopt a Trail. Speaking of Adopt a Trail, that is coming up.
It's still happening?
We'll have to see.
The 8th and 9th of
the 8th
July.
and 9th of July. We'll be hitting our Corral Hollow and Matley Ridge.
We got a couple of people joining us. So, if you want to help out, hit me up on the IG on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey.
Hopefully we will be able to get into our preferred campsite. You bring big chainsaws.
Shovels.
And shovels
snowblowers,
and gloves
tractors.
And tractors. But we'll be able to get into our Horse Gulch campsite that we prefer, which is a great location, has a nice fire pit, has plenty of space,
right,
for plenty of people, tents and campers, and well, I don't know about motorhomes, but it's I'm looking forward to that. That's it's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun, and the evenings are great, and we get around the campfire and we talk about the day's work, and
exactly,
of course, imbibe a few adult beverages, which is always fun,
right?
So that's coming up, and like Jason said, let him know if you have any interest, and we'll give you the correct information. What else is going on? There's so much has happened since you and I have actually been together. Visions Racing.
Yes.
That just happened this past weekend or week.
Yes.
Down in Jay, Oklahoma. And there was some big names down there. A lot of action going on. I popped in a few times and watched some of the racing and some of the pre-show, watched Pam Hall and the stuff she was posting on the gram, and it looked like it was just an absolute blast. And Shannon Campbell and of course Jess were hanging out in the pool and partaking in some adult beverages. beaches and partying like they always do.
It's a big party there, man.
Hell yeah, we need to make it down there. We really do.
So this is like Disneyland of off-road racing, apparently, because
pretty much.
They had drifting going on. I saw Von Gittin and
they had Nitro Circus.
They had Nitro Circus going. Travis Pastrana's involved now, which is freaking badass.
We saw Nitro Circus at the pavilion, not the pavilion, but the San Jose Arena.
That's the arena where the Sharks play. Yes, Shark Tank. And then they even had a guy on a freaking jet ski in the swimming pool doing freaking backflips.
That's right.
They had a nighttime jet ski show. Of course, they got the Barbie races. We can't forget about that. All the YJs going down the freaking steepy slope there.
Or pink.
They had some big rock bouncer freaking hill climb that Paul Wolf freaking did a full-on Indo.
Sending it.
Oh, my God.
Paul, we need to get you back on the show, buddy.
That had to ring his bell, man. That was a hard hit.
Oh, yeah,
just pure in the air, inverted. I'm inverted, and freaking straight into the front bumper of the car.
Augured in, man.
He did auger in. It was insane. Yeah, I mean, God, if you can't be entertained at that place, you're dead. Yeah, you don't have a pulse. Jeez.
Yeah, we need to put that on the calendar for next year and make it down there. That's for sure.
Really do. So if the skiing's not going in June next year, I'm going to head back there.
Shit. Yeah, that's right. There's just too many things on your calendar, on your plate. But there's some great stuff that was going on. The racing was epic. And the things between the regular racing the off-road racing, whatever. It's just an endless palette of stuff that's going on down there. And
all right,
we do have results, and we're gonna start with the 4,800 and 4,500 combined overall combined results. We're just gonna do the top. Let's do the top 5. How about
let's do the top 5?
So we've got in 5th place overall was Justin Barth.
Yeah, Justin Barth,
4,800 Legends class. And then in 4th place was Cody St. Clair. He's a 4,500 mod race car driver.
St. Clair.
3rd place, you got Ryan Taylor, is a Legends class guy.
Ryan.
And then, of course, who's in 2nd place there, Jason?
Woody Rose.
Woo-hoo, Woody Rose. We talked to him.
Nice job, Woody.
Interviewed him at Prairie City last year.
He's up and comer for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, he's already there, but he's one to note in the future here.
Absolutely. Keep an eye on him. First place was Jeremy Jones. Making it happen.
It's a good race name right there.
Hell yeah. Jeremy Jones. So congratulations to all you race car drivers that made it down to Visions and had a great time. And hopefully you're getting all your stuff put back together.
You got to have a last name of Jones if you race, like Ultra 4 Jones, Jeremy Jones.
You mean X-Racer Ultra 4 Jones?
Yeah, that too. Oh, wow. You threw that out there. I tried to pump him up, and you just beat him down. Know who your friends are, Kevin.
Pop the balloon. Who your friends are. Pop that balloon.
All right. What do we got for 4,400?
You want to read you want to start with that?
Oh, I can't see from here.
Let me pump it up.
Hey, why don't you make that bigger?
Oh, shit.
We got... Where are we going? We going backwards? Let's go.
Fifth place.
Let's go. Well, wait a minute. We got some. Let's start.
Top 10.
Yeah, let's go top 10 there. Do not know this individual. Tad Donkner? Dowker.
I'm going with Dowker.
Okay, we're going to go Dowker for 500, Alex.
Car number 906.
And then you got Bailey Campbell in 9th place. Nice. Jonathan Dawes is in 8th place. Levi Shirley, 7th place.
We've had him on the show a couple times.
Yes, and he's supposed to be back on. We tried to get him on before this race, but he was prepping for this race.
That's right.
Because there's a great Levi story that I alluded to at KOH that we need to get more details from his side.
Heck yeah.
Pip Justice, 6th place, number 6, and that is Rufus Racing right there.
That's right.
Phil McLaughlin in the 5th place. That's great. 4th, who is that?
Mr. Shannon
Never
Campbell.
heard of him before.
We've had him on the show.
We have?
3-time king.
That was freaking awesome. He is such a good guy, and obviously the godfather of freaking Ultra 4 here. Von Gittin, 3rd place.
Yeehaw, Von, right on.
And then we got Brian Campbell. Some people know him as Brian Cross, but it's Brian Campbell. And then
Bailey's
first place is Paul Wolf after freaking full send. How do you do that? How does that work?
And his car was effed up, dude. During that race, he lost his brakes and he broke a rotor. I mean, he was all jacked up.
Yeah, that was a hard hit. So, man, it just goes to show you how those WFO chassis hold up in those freaking conditions. Holy crap!
Well, he's a junkyard dog, man.
He is. He is. That says something, right? It's a testament to his childhood of racing junkyard cars and parts and making it work. And look at that. I mean, he's elevated his game a little bit here with a WFO car.
Absolutely.
But holy smokes.
Congratulations, Paul, on your first place podium finish at Visions 2023.
There you go.
Awesome.
We going to talk about golf carts or anything?
No golf carts.
All right.
We're not going to do that.
Wow.
No, not going there.
Rubber band.
So hopefully Wheeling Wine and Whiskey will make its way down to Visions in Jay, Oklahoma.
Save up your vacation, Chris. I'm out of vacation days right now, but I'll have a couple more next week saved up. So
you're out of work days almost.
We're almost out of work days. All right.
So, I mean,
hey, if you're not living, you're dying, Chris.
Pretty much. Yep. So we talked about Adopt a Trail.
Check.
I just wanted to kind of go back and apologize to some of our listeners. We had some feedback that the audio on a few of the episodes was a little wonky.
Oh, quiet.
I was pretty quiet, and we've been doing some things to kind of muffle or hide my breathing a little bit between me moving away from the microphone. Like I'm doing right now. But so we also shifted our editing software. I went away from Audacity to a paid program called Adobe Audition,
which is way better.
Which is hugely better,
but way more complicated.
So I'm on a very.
So I'm never going to be able to edit a podcast ever again.
I'm on a very steep learning curve for this software. So what I did is I went back to the last 4 episodes prior to this and remixed them and elevated and boosted the audio like we did prior with. So hopefully if you're hearing this right now, you go back and listen to them. Hopefully you're satisfied with what you're hearing. The audio levels are certainly
and there's some
better.
People that are like 5-6 episodes behind, so it's perfect because they would have never known.
Exactly. So, but I do apologize. Wheeling Wine and Whiskey apologizes for that, and hopefully moving.
Oh wow, that's not Pac-Man. There we go.
That isn't Pac-Man either.
No, it's not. This is labeled wrong.
Oh boy.
There it is.
So I apologize, and moving forward, hopefully things are better. But definitely, if you hear any issues, definitely let us know. Feedback is important.
It is.
It helps us keep the show on track and keeps the show consistent.
We appreciate it, and it's cool because people are real with us because we're real with people. So we're not perfect. We're definitely not getting paid for this deal, so we're just doing it out of no.
Oh shit!
You need to all those checks you don't cash their check.
I know they all bounced. Shit.
Hashtag Chris money.
I know, right? Yep. The only other thing I've got on my list, and I don't know what else you got, but I just want to give a quick shout out. This episode's going to drop on the week of 6/19, so June 19th, or just going to probably drop on to June 20th or 21st. The weekend coming up there's a Cal Rocks racing at Prairie City.
Oh, that's right.
I think it's the last in the series, right?
That's right. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there. Are you going to be there?
I don't think so. I want to try. I'd love to make it there for the Saturday main event, but there's just too much going on right now.
Right. There really is. But we'll get it.
We'll give you results for sure.
We do. I know Justin Hall will be there. Megan Miller. Who else is going to be there that we know?
The Gomez boys will probably be there.
Gomez's camp's going to be there for sure. Anyways, it'll be great. Goodby always puts on a great event.
Absolutely.
And I highly recommend you going out there. Unfortunately, you won't see Chris or I, but we will be there in spirit.
I think that Andy Carnitas is.
Our photographer Andy Carnitas is going to be there.
So if you see him, wave at him. Hopefully he doesn't get run down in the middle.
No, he's quick. He's
spry.
He is spry. Our official photographer of Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, Andy Carnitas.
Did you see his Jeeps up for sale?
I did.
What the fuck?
I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's got a rock buggy. He's going to do the rock buggy thing.
He might be getting a Prius.
A lot of people are. Oh, whoa, really? Really? I hope not. Andy, if you get a Prius, it was nice knowing you.
I think he was looking at
as much as I like Andy, I won't talk to him.
Maybe he took ownership of a Bronco. I think he was looking at Broncos.
Well, now that would be cool.
It would be cool.
I would love a new Bronco, but hashtag Chris money.
Speaking of Broncos, I was downtown in Livermore last night having dinner, and I was sitting outside on the outdoor dining patio at the restaurant we were at, and I saw a Ford Bronco Raptor drive by.
No shit.
That was super cool looking. I like those things.
I've seen 3 of them now, but the flares just...
You don't like it?
I don't like the flares. They
look macho, man. I mean,
no.
Just got to send it.
No.
Wow. Really? You're a Ford guy. I thought
I love everything else about it, but I just don't like the flares.
I could blindfold you and you'd buy a Ford. You'd buy a Ford.
I would drive it. If somebody got me one, I'd drive it. Don't kid yourself. But it's just I just those flares just there's going to be some aftermarket for that's going to be better.
I'm sure. Well, anyway, I thought it was cool looking and
what
then
color was it?
I think it was blue.
Blue, yeah. I seen a balloon one. Yeah. A blue one and the forest green, like Tyler's got. I like that color too. That's a nice color.
The other thing that drove by 4 times, not less than 4 times, was
not once, not twice, but 4 times.
Ferrari. And guess what color it was?
Red.
Yep. 4 times. It drove by 4 times.
It either has to be red or yellow.
Yep. No, it was red. Red Ferrari and Magnum PI was driving it.
Oh, perfect. Awesome.
That's all I've got. What else you got, Jason? You got anything?
Well, I think we should say who we are and how to get a hold of us.
Oh my God. We forgot to do that. We're so out of practice.
Oh my gosh. Come on.
All right. Well, if you want to get a hold of Chris, Jason, or Lorenzo, Chris, Jason, or Lorenzo at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com. You can also leave a voicemail at our phone number. What is that number, Jason?
That's 408-800-5169. 408-800-5169.
That's right. 408-800-5169. And leave a voice message and it'll get played on the air. We haven't heard from any of our celebrity friends in a while. It'd be kind of nice for them to call in.
They've been busy. It's that time of the year in Hollywood.
That's right.
I get it.
Well, isn't there a writer strike going on or something?
Oh, fuck. I don't know. I don't even pay attention to that shit.
That's right. So, and then, of course, go to our website, wheelingwinewhiskey.com, where you can see all of our past episodes. And, of course, links to our merch. There's a store link there where you can see, our any of the clothing and hats and of course, the Element fire extinguisher, which we're selling, and it's important to have if you have an RV or an off-road rig. You definitely want to have fire suppression.
Or a house.
You want
or anything that you care about that you don't want to burn down.
That's right. Go ahead.
I have some E100s too still.
A
couple
right.
more.
We've
sold a few. We mentioned it, so they're not on the website. But E100, hit me up on Wheeling Wine and Whiskey IG or email Jason at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com, and I will hook you up with the bro discount.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. With that,
we're out.